So what's it like to own and drive a Tesla Model 3 Performance? Well, quite frankly, it is an awesome experience. But why is the Model 3 Performance so good? Does it have any annoying features? Well, today we're going to find out. My name's Mark Reynolds, the EV enthusiast. Welcome to my channel. And if you like this video, please smash that like button and subscribe for more Tesla Model 3 content. And please feel free to leave me some comments in the box about what you think about this video. So let's start off with what this car is like to drive. Now normally, as we know, performance cars can be an absolute nightmare, especially at low speeds. Perhaps they've got a jerky gearbox, or perhaps the power delivery isn't uniform. Perhaps they've got leery handling and it's a bit of a worry. Not this car. This car is smooth and responsive, and it's an absolute puppy to drive at slow speeds, maybe around town, and especially when you put the car into chill mode. However, put the car into sport mode and it becomes an absolute beast. I can honestly say you never get tired of the power. It puts a big smile on your face every time, and when you floor it from a standstill, you feel it right here, all your food in your stomach coming up. It's just an amazing feeling. And it's so difficult when you know that you're going to punch the power, not to pretend you're Captain Kirk and just say punch it and push the throttle to the floor. It's amazing. 0 to 60, 3.2 seconds. 0 to 100, 8.2 seconds. I mean, that's Ferrari or Lamborghini quick. But of course those cars have to be in launch mode with the engine revving hard to achieve those type of speeds. This car, however, it's the traffic light king. You simply pull up smooth and quiet to the traffic lights, no engines running, no sounds, just explosive power. And it's actually very easy to find a good driving position. The seat moves obviously backwards and forwards, up and down, the pedals are in a good position, and you've even got an easy entry system, which means that the seat moves back when you turn the car to park and open the door, allowing you to get in and out easily. The steering wheel also moves up and down and in and out for rake and reach, so it's very easy to find a good driving position with this car. So what's visibility like in this car? Well, in general, it's good. It's not perfect. Why do I say that? Well, there are large A-pillars here which block visibility a little bit from the front. And when you look in the rear view mirror, because the parcel shelf and the boot is quite high, it's quite difficult to see lower down out the rear. Of course, that can be cured by pressing the reverse camera, and that works even while you're moving along. Overall, visibility is okay, it's not fantastic. But this is a very easy car to own and use. Your phone acts as the key, so as long as your phone's in your pocket, the car will know it's you, it'll let you open the door and get in. And of course there is no on or off button. You simply put your foot on the brake, put the car into drive, and away you go. When you reach your destination, again it's very easy, push the button on the stalk to park, open the door, get out, and then when you get about 10 or 20 feet away from the car will auto lock, as long of course as you have put walk away door lock on the settings. So what about range? Now range is always on the mind of any electric car driver. Well, this performance model has a 75 kilowatt battery, and the rating for this car is 329 miles. But of course range is dependent on a number of different factors. What's the temperature outside? If it's below 5 degrees, that will severely impact on your range. If it's 22 degrees Celsius outside, then of course that will improve your range. It also makes a difference on your driving style. If you're constantly pushing the accelerator hard, just like in a normal fossil fuel powered car, that will affect your range. Tyre pressures will also affect your range. Ideally you want it above 40. And of course if it's cold outside and you want to heat the cabin, that too will take quite a lot of power and reduce your range. The one thing also that seems to make a massive difference to your range is whether the roads are wet and if it's raining. Because if the roads are wet, your car has to push through surface water, and again that will affect your range. Also the speed that you drive. If you're doing around 30 miles an hour, well, you're going to get a lot more range than if you're doing 70 or 80 miles per hour. So what's the real world range? Well, I would say approximately 280 miles in the summer and maybe around 240 miles from a charge in the winter. And of course, for 99% of the time, that range is going to be more than enough. Why do we say that? Well, that brings us to our next point, charging the car. Well, electric cars are actually much easier to charge now. Now, there are a number of different ways that you can charge your car. Perhaps the most obvious one is charging at home, and the majority of people will do this. And that can be very cheap, especially if you do it on a night rate meter. Tesla, of course, is famous for its superchargers, and they are so easy to use. There's no app, there's no RFID card, there's no problems at all with charging. You simply pull up to the supercharger, plug your car in, it knows and recognises it's your car in your account, and it fills it up quickly. I've had rates of approximately 400 miles of charge for every hour that you're going to be there. So in reality, if you're there for half an hour, you're going to get 200 miles of range. And then of course there's public charging infrastructure. That's a little bit more difficult. You do need an FRID card, or you do need an application to start the charge. But again, in town centres, in car parks, in shopping centres, in supermarkets, the public network now is increasing all the time. So let's talk about the style of the car. Now, I know that style is going to be a very subjective thing, but to me, to my eye, I think it's a beautiful looking car. Every time I look out my house and see it on the drive, it makes me smile. There's beautiful flowing lines all the way down from the roof down to the tailgate. I love the subtle creases down the side of the body. And doesn't it have such a beautiful face? The car is actually quite low at the front, which gives it an almost sports car-like appearance. But of course that is there also to aid aerodynamics. It's got quite a nice rounded rear. It is quite high at the rear, and of course we know that blocks the visibility a little bit when driving. But to me, it's a beautiful looking car. It has 20-inch performance wheels, which I think look fantastic. I must admit I do prefer the silver wheels rather than the grey, but unfortunately when I bought this car you could only get the grey wheels with it. The red brake calipers hiding behind the wheels just give a hint of performance on offer. And then of course you've got that amazing glass roof that runs all the way from front to back. What other features does this car have? Well, this actually is a genuinely practical car. It's a genuine 5-seater with decent legroom and headroom in the back. It also has 2 boots. Obviously it's got the normal boot at the back, and that has useful extra storage bin underneath, which is big enough to fit a cabin bag in. And then of course it's got the extra boot at the front, the frunk. Now in total this car has 425 litres of boot space. It also has ISOFIX points in the back for children. It also has plenty of storage space. I'm glad that I actually put in water bottle bins in the doors. The Model S doesn't have that, and that's such a shame because they're really useful. Really nice centre console with storage underneath and storage under here as well. So plenty of storage in the Tesla Model 3. Another nice feature of the car is the Google Maps. If you've got premium connectivity, it will also show you traffic information. And of course Google Maps is by far, in my opinion, the best way to get around. It automatically gives you the quickest or the shortest route depending on what you want, taking into account traffic. And it will reroute you if traffic problems appear on the way. Another nice feature of the car is the Tesla software updates. Now, as we know, Tesla was the first manufacturer to give over-the-air updates. Now other manufacturers like Jaguar, Ford, Mercedes and Audi, they're all following suit, aren't they? Because it is the way forward. In the 5 months since I've owned this car, I've had approximately 7 updates that I've installed. And these updates range from small updates such as just language changes, you can now get Polish or Portuguese, to some genuinely big improvements on the car. For instance, now the car recognises traffic lights, it sees wheelie bins, Sentry mode has been improved. I can now actually see Sentry mode, what's happened on the screen and play back in the car, whereas when I first bought it 5 months ago, if there was a Sentry event, I had to take out the SSD card, put it in my computer and check what had actually happened. And previous to me, there's been power upgrades. It first had 450 horsepower, and now it's got 490 horsepower, so that's a nice improvement. And of course, you never know when you're going to wake up in the morning and you look on your phone and there's another update, and you eagerly rush to the car to see what the update is. And of course, whenever an update comes, I'll always post it immediately on YouTube so you guys can see what it is. And if you need to go on a road trip, well, that's actually very easy in the Model 3. You simply put in your destination in the navigation, and it will tell you how long it will take you to get to the destination, which superchargers to use on the way, and how long you'll need to spend at those superchargers. In addition, it will also tell you how much range you'll have when you arrive at your destination, because there may not be a charging point where you're actually going, and you'll need to work out how to get back. So basically, the car does everything for you. So one of the main things that you will love about owning a Model 3, apart from the blistering performance, is the running costs. Or should I say, the lack of running costs. Why do I say that? Well, I've done 1,300 miles now in this Tesla Model 3. And do you know how much I've spent on electricity? Literally nothing. I've not put a penny of electricity in of my own. How have I managed this? Well, when you buy a Tesla Model 3, if you buy it with a referral code, you get 1,000 miles of free supercharging. Around where I live, there are a number of free charge points. Whenever I've gone to Tesla, I've had a couple of service issues and some of the problems I've also outlined on my channel. Tesla have been quite happy for me to just plug it into their destination charger. They've even plugged it in themselves while I was out. They put another 90 miles of free charge in. So it's actually very easy to run this car on free electric, especially because of the range that it has. There are no servicing costs with the Model 3. Of course, you get a 3-year warranty on everything with the car, and because it doesn't have a service schedule, you don't have any costs. So running this car, you'll love it. So are there any annoying features about the Tesla Model 3? Well, in fairness, yes there are. The auto lights, for instance. I may be driving along on a beautiful bright sunny day and the car's put the headlights on. Why? All that's going to do is take power. As we've mentioned too, the rear visibility isn't great. That could be improved, and we've mentioned that that can be improved by putting the camera on. At night there is no ambient lighting in, and I think that's such a shame. It would have been so nice maybe just to have a strip of lights maybe down the door or on the front dash, or some little lights up in the side, just to give it a hint of colour at night. And the only other annoying factor that I found is the front trunk. Now I don't really use the front trunk. Storage space in the back is great, but what stops me using it is that to close the front trunk you have to close it gently, and then you have to put 2 hands on the bonnet and push it down. Overall though, these are small annoyances. I love the car. So in conclusion then, how do I feel about the car? Well, this is a groundbreaking car. This car puts a smile on your face every time you think about it, let alone every time you get in and drive it. It is a genuinely usable supercar. Now, of course, you do have a big initial outlay. This car no longer qualifies in Britain for the tax break, so you have to pay the extra £3,000. It's now £56,500. But after that initial outlay, it is virtually free to run. If you are thinking of buying one, do make sure you buy one using a free Tesla referral code, because that will give you 1,000 miles of free supercharging. And then of course you'll get your own referral code, and anytime somebody uses your referral code, that will give you another 1,000 miles of free supercharging. So feel free to use my code, which I've listed in the description below. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash the like button. Thanks for watching the video.